I've been running webinar funnels for over 10 years now. And right now in 2026, I'm seeing more people burn money on lead gen than at any point in this whole decade. Not because webinars don't work, they absolutely do, but because the game has shifted and most people didn't get a memo. So in this video, I'm gonna show you 4 webinar lead generation strategies that are working right now. We're gonna use real numbers from real clients, and I'll tell you upfront what's stopped working so you can stop burning your budget on it. Now, if you've run a webinar in the past 12 months and you're not happy with your results, drop a comment below. I want to know what you're experiencing so I can tailor my content for you accordingly. But let's get into it. So first, let me tell you what has changed, because if you know this, everything else makes sense. See, the 3 things that shifted in 2026 that are killing old school webinar lead gen. Number 1 is the Meta Andromeda update. The algorithm now reads the underlying message of your ad, not just the visuals. Now, here's the thing. If you're running 20 creative variations, but they're all saying the same thing, Meta treats it as one ad. Your reach is capped by the algorithm and your CPL goes up. Your agency will send you a nice report about creative fatigue. But it's not creative fatigue, it's actually message fatigue. Huge difference. Number 2 is audience sophistication. See, your ideal client has been to a ton of webinars. They've been burned by the bad ones, those ones that offer free training on how to overcome X. That just doesn't stop the scroll anymore. Number 3, and this one is huge, is LLM competition. Your prospect now has a free coach in their pocket. ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. I had a friend who replaced his actual psychologist with ChatGPT. I'm not saying that's a good idea, but people are doing it. People are replacing the business coaches, the life coaches, with free AI tools. So today, you're not just competing against other coaches, you're competing against free. So these 3 things together mean the old playbook is done. Ads to landing page to webinar, that alone is not gonna cut it. But here's the good news. These 4 specific strategies are working right now. So let me show you all 4 in this video. Now, strategy number 1 is what I call the multi-funnel lead gen system. I know what you're thinking. Terence, I can barely manage 1 funnel. Now you want me to run 3? So hear me out, okay? Here's the thing. Most coaches run 1 funnel. Ads go to landing page goes to webinar, and if that webinar doesn't convert, they think their webinar is broken. Actually, it's not the webinar, it's the single point of failure. See, think about it as having 1 friend group. If that group falls apart, your social life is over. But if you got your uni friends, your footy mates, your church crew, you're always booked out, right? That's what a multi-funnel system does for your lead gen. So that is why our best clients run multiple different funnels. So here's how it works. Like part 1, they might run a mini course as a lead magnet, not a PDF, not a checklist, a real 5 to 7 day email course that gives you real value and builds trust before your prospect ever sees a sales message. This does 2 things. 1, it gets you leads at $2 to $5 instead of $15 to $20 because you're not pitching anything up front. Secondly, it indoctrinates them. So when they actually come to your webinar, they actually know you, like you, and trust you. They're not folding their arms going, I'll see what this person has to say. They're already on your side, and that makes a huge difference. So you don't have to do mini course. You can do ordinary lead magnets, and that's fine too. So part 2, a VSL funnel for warm retargeting. These are the people who went through your mini course, maybe even went to your webinar, but did not book a call. You can retarget them with a video. Now they've seen more pieces of your content, more chances to now convert without spending another cent on cold traffic. And part 3, maybe then you have your monthly webinars for your fence sitters. For everyone who has been through both funnels and still hasn't decided, this webinar gives them a reason to show up. It creates urgency and converts people who just needed more time. My client Jerry Lee runs a tuition business. They've got multiple lead magnet funnels, many lead magnet funnels, a trial class funnel, a webinar funnel. They're all running at the same time. The result, he had about 7 tutors when we first started with him. Now he has 27 tutors and over 2,000 students. And we've been with them for 5 years now. Their business keeps growing because they have this whole ecosystem working together, and they're not just pressurized to sell at the webinar. And once people are in your ecosystem, you have these multiple events, multiple touch points, and opportunities to convert. You're no longer relying on that one webinar to do all the heavy lifting. But that's not the most interesting strategy. Let me show you strategy number 2. It's the one most agencies will never tell you about because it kind of makes them look bad. Look, the biggest mistake I see in webinar lead gen right now is this. People are spending all their time making new images, new videos, new thumbnails, but they're essentially saying the same thing in every ad. The gurus are telling you test more creatives, but guess what? If your message is wrong, no creative is gonna save it. So here's what's actually working instead. We call it the Blitzvertising system. The core idea is to find your winning message before you build any creative. So here's the process. We test many big ideas or different angles, and we launch it on Meta, and we kill the losers at 500 impressions. We then test various headlines with those winning big ideas or angles. Then we build out the video creative. But most people get it completely backwards. They build the video first, then wonder why it doesn't work, and they've spent so much time filming and editing the video. So if you want to take it to the S level with your marketing, here's what you need to do to take it even further, and that's positioning yourself differently. Come up with a brand new concept that hits your prospect like an ALS ice bucket. If you remember that, think Donald Miller's story brand, Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, James Clear's atomic habits. It's not easy, but this is the way to position yourself and make yourself different in a competitive environment. See, when Eason came to us, he was breaking even, spending money, getting leads, but barely making it back. So we went back to basics. We tested different message angles. One of them was how to use AI to create a trading board that trades for you. That angle crushed everything else. The first campaign, we ran with that message, 12 times return on ad spend. To be honest, we never know what angles will work. Nobody does. And that's the whole point. You test, you find out, and then you scale the winners. So don't just pick one winner. Pick multiple winners to scale. Another example, Yasil, when he did his first few launches with us, he got over 6,000 leads with a 5.44 times ROAS overall because we kept refreshing the message, not just the images. And one more for you, Jerry, the tuition center guy. When he came to us, his CPL was sitting above $10. Through message testing, it came down to even below $1 per lead. In fact, it was 97 cents. 97 cents. I've got a full video on that in the description. All right. Strategy 3, and this one surprises a lot of people. Strategy 3 is about your show up rate. And I'm going to show you why this number matters more than almost anything else in your lead gen. See, right now, the industry average for show up rates for webinars is 30 to 40%. But most coaches and course creators I talk to, they're getting 20% or less. So what does this actually mean? You paid for 100 leads, 80 of them never even see your offer. You paid for them, they're gone. So here's how we work to fix it. We call it the Sprint webinar. It's a 20-minute AI-powered webinar format built specifically to get higher show-up rates and to get appointments. Not by sending more reminder emails, by changing the format itself. For one client, we hit an 84% show-up rate with this format and close 10% to an appointment. Industry standard, again, is 30 to 40%. We got 84%. Results not typical, again, okay? And we had a SaaS client running a webinar at 3 to 4% show-up rate. 3 to 4%, that is painful. We switched to the Sprint webinar format, jumped to 28%, nearly 10 times better. So now, here's the math I want you to think about. You spend 1,000 on leads, get 100 registrants at 20% show-up rate, 20 people see your webinar. At 40%, same $1,000, same 100 leads, now 40 people see it. You've doubled your sales opportunities without spending a single extra cent. That's why show up rate is the most underrated number in webinar lead gen. But even if you fix your show up rate, you're still going to have people who attended and didn't buy, and that's where strategy 4 comes in. Strategy 4 is where most coaches leave money on the table, and that's without having a proper follow-up that's powered by AI. See, lead gen isn't about getting people into your funnel. It's what happens to them at every stage after that. From our experience, and we've generated over 2 million leads since 2014, 70 to 80% of sales are lost. Not because the lead was bad, because nobody followed up properly or fast enough. So here are the 3 places where you can use AI follow-up to become a revenue multiplier. First, before the webinar, an AI bot reaches out right after someone registers, confirms they are coming. For the ones who can't make it, it reschedules them to your next webinar automatically. And it asks one simple question. What is your #1 challenge with topic? That question does 2 things. It gets them to be engaged before the event, which increases show up, and it gives you market research that you can use in your next campaign. Remember step 1, where we are creating different messages? The whole thing becomes a data gathering exercise as well as an engagement tool. Now, secondly, after the webinar, the fence sitters, people who showed up but didn't buy, the AI starts a human-like conversation, finds out what stopped them and handles objections, sends them to the sales page or books a call, saves a ton of money and effort compared to a human doing this. Third thing you could use AI to do is cold lead revival. People who went through your funnel months ago and just went quiet. You can use AI to re-engage them with a reason to come back. A new webinar, a new relevant piece of content, a new offer. See, my client Vince Dan runs World Masterclass. We helped him build a list of 100,000. He used that 100,000 people to not just sell his own products, but launch many other coaching businesses as well. And he took a share in each of these coaching businesses, and that's why today he's working on IPOing his company. That's what we call the total mindshare system, that's also powered but with AI. Where you treat your list so well, you become the only logical solution when it comes time to buy. So the webinar is not the end, guys. It is the start of the next phase. All right, so that's the 4 strategies that are actually working for webinar lead gen in 2026. In a nutshell, the multi-funnel lead gen system, so you're not relying on one single point of failure. Blitzvertising to find your winning message before you build creative. The sprint webinar to fix your show up rate, and AI follow-up to convert the leads you've already paid for. None of this is complicated, but all it requires is a system, not just tactics. And if you want more on any of these, I'll link the relevant videos below. There's one on the Meta Andromeda update, one on how we got that 97-cent CPO, and one on the Sprint webinar case study. If you found this video useful, please hit the like and subscribe button. It genuinely helps more people find this content, and it means a lot because we put in a ton of effort into these videos. And if you want us to help you build this whole system for your business, no obligation, just a friendly chat, click on the link below. Let's see if we got a good fit working together. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.